have responsibility to serve the people.
I believe 48 hours ago, we did get the story as regards thousands of hundreds of Nigerians, FCT residents who went on the street protesting the leadership of Nelson Wike as the FCT minister, accusing him of trying to, in one hand, take away the lands and properties of Nigerians using some instruments of government, and on the other part, trying to deny Nigerians what they rightfully own. Fast forward, after that protest, we had the protest in favor of the FCT minister. And the FCT minister, like we know him, Nelson Wike, didn't shy away from, speaking out or reacting to the alleged protest by some Nigerians calling for his resignation as the FCT minister. We have some videos as regards this protest, the protest for and against Wike. Let's have a look at it. Then when we return, we'll be talking to the National President, Civil Society for Good Governance, Chief Ogaku Dominic, who is joining us via Zoom, so that we get his take as regards this protest for and against the FCT minister. All right, that's the protest by some Nigerians, residents of the FCT, calling for his resignation. And on the flip side, the FCT minister didn't hesitate to take a swipe at those who did protest against him. And this was what he had to say. All right, we can get that clip as regards the FCT minister reacting to that protest. All right, let's quickly join Chief Ogaku Dominic, who is joining us via Zoom, to get his take as regards the protest for and against the FCT minister. Good afternoon, Dominic. Dominic, good afternoon. All right, I think next issues are Dominic is the national president of the Civil Society Coalition of Civil Society Groups for Good Governance. We want to get his take as regards what this protest means, calling for the resignation of the FCT minister, saying his policies. Good afternoon, Dominic. Good afternoon, Dominic.
Good afternoon, Mamadou. Good afternoon,
okay, nice to have you join us finally. Let's look at the current protest. Some for the FCT minister and some against the FCT minister, saying his policies are meant to take away what rightly belongs to Nigerians and going back behind the scene to reacquire these lands and properties. That's the accusation against the FCT minister. Do you think Nelson Wike has been found wanting since he took over reins of the FCT?
I really do not feel that those who are protesting against Nelson Wike have the right perspective or understands what governance is all about, or do I say remains one of the challenges with regards to leadership in our country. You will agree with me that this is a man who is not even a member of the ruling political party, but was given an appointment, a very watery appointment, because of his capacity and his sagacity, because of the trust that has been reposed in him by Mr. President, because of the good work which he did in Rivers State. These are some of the things that have ended in this appointment as a minister of the Federal Capital Territory. And I also understand that a lot of people who are expecting that it should not be him are not happy with this appointment. And invariably, this is what is responsible for the purported protest by coalition of civil society organizations, which I describe as uh, a misplacement of priority, a derailment from the norms of what the civil society should stand for. Uh, those who are protesting actually brings to bear that not just the government institutions in our country that needs to be worked upon, but I think even the civil society community needs to have a rethink as to their strategy, as to their approach, as to their understanding of how government functions. So for me, I feel that the protest is uncalled for. The counter protest is also uncalled for. These are sober periods in our national history, and we should be more concerned about how we can get the country out of its present economic quagmire than trying to frustrate the effort of government in repositioning the entire landscape, the political landscape, the political ecosystem for maximum performance.
All right, let's look at people are not just protesting about Wike's leadership in the FCT. 48 hours ago, we also had some protests by concerned Rivers youth who did protest as regards his interference with the governorship and governance in Rivers State, where he's been allegedly accused of demanding 30% of the state's budgetary allocation. Do you think the figure, Wike, is divisive rather than positive?
The truth of the matter is we are at a period where political jobbers or those who are trying to grab what they can are orchestrating different dimensions of issues as a way of trying to give a dog a bad name so that they can hang it. I believe that the River State embryo is actually a misplacement of issues. What I mean by that is, well, yes, the governor is now governor, Wike is no longer governor, but there remain a place for people who have helped you once in your lifetime, people who have been there for you, people who have supported you, people who have assisted you to achieve your dream, your lifelong ambition. I believe that at this point in time, the governor is becoming unnecessarily forward, is becoming unnecessarily vindictive, because I don't see anything that will warrant all these protests or attempt to discredit his boss, which he has openly admitted that he is a son to Wike and all that. So I feel the matter is being amplified out of range. And the earlier it is nipped in the bud, the better. Because as far as I'm concerned, it will not help him. Wike went out of his way totally to ensuring that he becomes governor. And so far, His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Ezonwo Wike, has come out to say that none of those allegations are true. He has not demanded, possibly there's a place where he has asked that the right thing be done. And in terms of agreement, in terms of how governance in the state is administered, and if the governor is not very, very okay with this, he should therefore try to look at a way where they can address these issues amicably than trying to use vindictive or retaliative measures in attempt to undermine the strength of His Excellency the Governor, the former Governor of Rivers State. And you know that when a man is pushed to the wall, he has no choice but to fight back. And I want to believe that this is what is happening. Both of them, they are beginning to push themselves to the wall. And they will fight. And you know, when they say when two elephants fight, what happens? It is the grass that suffers. It is the grass that suffers. It is the people of Rivers State that will pay dearly for this misplacement of the role of government or the role of governance in the state.
Can
And
we say
I want to call on the governor to be more temperate, to reason.
Okay, I want to ask, don't you think this is a case of godfatherism that's playing out in Rivers State, where Wike wants to be in charge, just like we had Rotimi Amechi trying to lord it over Nelson Wike when he was governor?
Hello, come again.
Yeah, I said, don't you think what's happening in Rivers State is an extension of or a replica of what played out when Rotimi Amechi was trying to lord it over Nelson Wike when he was the governor? Do you think that's what Wike is trying to replicate
there was no
with
time.
the Fubara era?
There was no time that Amechi wanted to lord it over Wike, because Wike became governor without any effort from Rotimi Amechi. This is a two different scenario.
Okay, so
yes,
why? So why do
yes,
you
so
think?
Wike person.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Why would Fubara suddenly want to oppose his master if that's the case? If Wike was that good to him, why would there be a change of guard suddenly?
This is politics. I know in politics there are a lot of banana peels, there are a lot of shenanigans, there are a lot of mudslinging. You understand that Rivers State is balkanized greatly by a lot of issues. For instance, there is Yeso Wike, a PDP member who is now enjoying the largest in APC. So you don't expect that peace will reign. There are a lot of APC members who are already trying to whisper to the governor of Rivers State as to the position to take. I'm not taking side. All I'm saying is that the governor should be temperate, because these are trying times. These are times where it is possible that he is getting the wrong perception, or he's getting. There's a way. There are every issue is negotiable. There's a place for dialogue. First, there must be a place for dialogue before the outbursts, before the issues. You understand? Because for me, it looks like the governor is being forward with the issue, because he has not deployed deployed the avenue for dialogue. He has not exhausted that, and I feel that that should be a first place of call. I'm saying this because you understand what it means for Wike, who went out of his way in ensuring that the governor became governor against all odds.
Doesn't that show that the election of Fubara was not free, fair, and credible? If you're insinuating that Wike went all out to ensure that he became governor, whether the people wanted him or not, and wouldn't that suggest that that's why he wants to be repaid back for all his efforts?
I cannot sit here because, as far as I'm concerned, the last time I checked, the court has upheld at the election petition tribunal. The election of Governor Fubara was upheld at the appeal court. It has been upheld, and even now that it's going to the Supreme Court, we don't know what will happen. So, if there were discrepancies in terms of the voting patterns and all that, I'm sure the court would have identified that easily. But that, having said that, I am saying that in life, you must always set boundaries between what is doable and what is acceptable, and what is not acceptable and what is not doable. You know, in life you must set that. If a man do you a favor, no matter how little it is, Well, even when the man tries to come back in a more disgusting way, or what you might not be palatable to you, it is not enough reason for you to now begin to throw caution to the wind and act as if that man's favor is irrelevant or was not a favor in the first instance.
All
That
right.
is my take.
Okay. All right.
That
Let's
is my
come.
take.
Okay. Let's come back to the FCT. Some of the protesters raised the issue of Wike placing some policies like some annual fees that will make some owners of land and property lose their because of their inability to pay, lose their properties and lands. And they say Wike wants to technically regain these lands and properties and own it back through the back door. That's some of the allegations against him. How would you vet some of his policies since he took reins of office?
Well, well, well. I think what Nigerians should be more concerned about is Wike performing. Ever since Wike took over as Minister of FCT, you will see that the entire FCT has become a project site.
All right, our network playing the first one on us there. We hope Dominic, Chief Gaku Dominic, will be able to rejoin us
There are
soon.
projects.
Okay, okay.
Hello, hello,
Yeah, we can
hello.
hear you. Continue, go ahead.
Abandoned projects that were not attended to
Okay.
are now receiving quick attention. There's been resurfacing all over the city center and across even the suburbs. Council chairmen are now knowing what to do. They are becoming more proactive. They now know that becoming a chairman in the Abuja area council is not just to stock away money, but it's also to perform. Now, coming to the issue of taxing houses and all that, these are things that you do not. There are policies of government that have become long overdue. For instance, you agree with me that there is a lot of slush funds, money laundering through different properties agencies and people owning. There are a lot of empty properties in Abuja, a lot of estates, a lot of houses within the city center, within the suburb, within different cadastral zones that really are lying there without being attended to. I'm sure that this policy will help minimize how people reap government of resources or how people take advantage of government. Because if you now know that you are going to be paying tax, your house is going to be taxable, I'm sure you will not begin to build houses and all that and all that. While this is very important, we also call on the Honorable Minister to review these policies with regards to location, with regards to, but first, it is a welcome development that your house should be linked to your BVN, to your NIN. It is important so that we will be able to track the properties and know who owns what and who has what and who is having what. These ones, that is not a problem at all. But with regards to what to pay, I think what the landlords should rather do is to ask for a review with regards to the location, with regards to some of these things. So at that level, it is acceptable. But to say that what the Honorable Minister is doing is totally as a way of victimizing or trying to land grab or trying to use his cronies to be able to get these properties from people and all that, I think it's just an allegation that has no life in it at all. It is totally lifeless, and I should not. It is in the attempt to discredit him that they are coming with all these
Right.
insinuations.
Okay, let's
And
wrap it up.
it's really not
Let's
worth
wrap.
it at this point in time.
All right, let's wrap our conversation up. The FCT minister did allege that those protests were sponsored. When he says those protests were sponsored, does he tell us that he has an idea, he's got some enemies, and what does that mean to the whole conversation? Because this is the first time we've seen protesters come out en masse to call for the resignation of an FCT minister based on his policies.
you will agree with me that the Honorable Minister is sagacious enough to know exactly whether a protest is sponsored or not. Again, uh, whether it's sponsored or it's not sponsored, uh, the message has been taken, and the fact that if you are a minister and you're not performing, the Nigerians can come out to protest against very unpopular policies. So, well, as you know, there are interested parties in any protest, and I'm sure that most of the people who came out are not the people who own lands in Abuja. From their faces, you can tell that these are not the landowners that are. You can see that 99% of those people who are carrying placards and holding banners, some of them don't even own a jack, they don't even have accommodation within the city center. And I'm sure that's what led to the honorable minister stating that they were sponsored. But having said that, we want the honorable minister to reconsider some of these policies and ensure that it is in the interest of Nigerians generally. Because we cannot afford to heap more sufferings on the people. We have passed those times where we want Nigerians to suffer out of course. And for me, I believe that the Honorable Minister is doing marvelously well. I can tell you, we have not had a proactive minister of the Federal Capital Territory in so short a time. You need to understand what is going on. You need to see the proactiveness. We have had ministers of FCTs who just came and felt that it was all about. But here you see a minister who is always out there. He has set the records. He is called. Almost every contractor has gone back to site. Everything is moving. For me, this is where Nigerians should rather divert their energies to and commend him for a job well done, and also appeal to him where the policies are very unpopular. Appeal to him, bring it to a place of dialogue so that these issues can receive adequate attention as at when due.
Gaku Dominic, the president of Civil Society Groups of Good Governance, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's how we're going to call it a wrap on today's edition of the program, Insight Today. Today is a brief version, and we'll be looking at the Wike protest gate, talking about the protests, some for and some against the FCT minister calling for his resignation. That's how we'll call it a wrap on today's edition. My name remains Anthony Momodu. Good afternoon.
To ask how, why, when, and why it must be immediate.
Educate the woman, you have educated a nation.
The outcome of a review of the same election are being finalized.
When you climb in the pulpit, what you say matters a lot.
Have responsibility to serve the people.